Hi guys. Okay, so today we're going to be starting our unit on graphing. So what we're going to be doing is starting with the coordinate plane. So the coordinate plane is where you have two number lines that intersect with each other perpendicularly. So you'll have a number line going this way, okay? And we'll just say we'll go -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then you will also have another number line crossing through perpendicular to that one. Okay, now just like our normal number line, we know the negatives go on the left, positives go on the right. With this number line, think of like when you go up in the air or down below sea level. So when you go up in the air, that's our positives. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then down below sea level would put us in the negatives. So -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Okay? So you can kind of think of this as like latitude and longitude because that's exactly what it is. It's placing, we use this to place locations of certain areas in the real world. You know, it would just be like, okay, what are the coordinates of this, this specific school? But in math, we just go based off of like what point is located where on this graph. So you'll hear it as written as the coordinate plane. Some people say the graph. So with these two number lines, okay, so one this way and then this way, they have their own names. This one is known as the X, okay? This is the X-axis. So X is going this way. That would be horizontal. Y is the vertical axis. So this is the Y-axis. To remember that, I actually had a student who, when they drew it, they said, oh, Y-axis, if I make a Y and make it really, 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 really long, that makes the Y-axis. So you have the X-axis, which is horizontal. You have the Y-axis, which is vertical. Where they meet, so they meet at this point here. This is 0, 0. Okay, that is the origin. So think about like the word like your origin or original, like where you start at. The original is like where you start at. Okay, so that is the origin. When we want to graph a point, okay, think about when you do latitude and longitude. You need to know which direction to go first. So you will start going horizontally first. So when you want to graph a point, you always start by going left or right first on the x-axis. And then once you run the x-axis, okay, you'll jump to get to the y-axis. So you go up and down second. So the way you'll write a point, it'll be x, comma, y. That's called a coordinate. Okay? Coordinate or coordinate point. So that's where a specific spot is located. So if I was like, okay, I need you to go to coordinate 4, comma 3. That means I would always start at the origin, okay? The origin, your original, where you start. I'm going to go 4 spaces on the x-axis, so I'm going to go over 4 to the right. And then I'm going to go up to the y-axis at +3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So over 4, up to 3. So you always start x, y. It's an ABC order, guys. So remember that x comes before y. So you start x, left to right, y. Think of like when you do video games like Mario. Okay, if you want him to jump the highest, he needs to run first. So he runs first, jumps second. Okay? So that's a coordinate. So again, you have the x-axis, the y-axis. The origin is where you start, right in the middle. Then you move left to right, then up and down. And we'll talk about graphing more. I'm just kind of giving you the specifics. So that's a coordinate. Okay. We also have things called the quadrants. So the quadrant, okay. So a coordinate is a very specific point. A quadrant is your 4 squares. So an example could be like a quadrant, very very broad. It could just be like the state of Indiana. Okay, it doesn't really tell me much, but it's somewhere. This is in the state of Indiana, and then the coordinate would be like Indianapolis. Okay, so that's a little bit more specific. So the quadrant, I'm going to erase this part here, is these 4 squares that make up your coordinate plane. Now to remember how they go, okay, the first quadrant, so there's 4 of them, the first one is always the top right one, and we write it in Roman numerals, so I write it as an I, okay, I'll just put number 1 here just so you remember. Okay, from there, your quadrants specifically go counterclockwise. So you hit 1, top right, then 2, 3, and then 4. 4 is IV. Okay? To remember that, it makes a C. Okay? A C. So quadrant. So if I was like, okay, back to that point that we had 4 comma 3. 4 comma 3 is right here. So if I said, all right, what quadrant is 4 comma 3 in, you would say it's in quadrant 1. If I put a point down here and I said, all right, what quadrant is that? That's quadrant 3. Okay, so that's the coordinate plane. You have your quadrants, which are the 4 squares, and then your coordinates, which are the specific points. We will get into more of graphing those points tomorrow, our next e-learning day. But that's kind of it for now. I'm looking to see if I'm missing anything on this. I don't believe so. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know.